Let's write some compelling headlines for your landing pages, sales pages, and the rest of your funnel. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to grab a copy of our sales funnel playbook to help you with all of your copywriting. It has all these headline formulas as well. Now, of course, when it comes to copywriting, we need to make sure that we're speaking to the right person, right? The people who are actually going to purchase our products and services. And so, irrespective of what stage of copywriting you're in, there are two basic questions you need to answer in order to use all of these formulas that we're about to go through. First, we need to identify what results are our ideal customers after. There's definitely a better way to say that. And then what roadblocks do they perceive, not what we perceive, but what roadblocks do they perceive is getting in the way of achieving those results? So all you have to do is spend 5 or 10 minutes and list out all the results your ideal customer is after, even if it's not directly related to your product or service, and then all of the roadblocks, things that they think are in their way or they have to overcome in order to achieve the results that they're looking for. And so just as an example, let's say we have a product that's going to help people be better with Facebook ads. So for desired results, we could say consistent leads, positive return on ad spend, more confidence. What do they think is getting in their way? Not sure what kinds of ad to use. Maybe metrics are confusing, or maybe they just don't think they have enough time to learn. And so once you have these results and roadblocks, you can easily plug and play all of these formulas that we are about to go over. So let's go ahead and jump into some simple headline formulas for your landing page. So number one, we have how to result without roadblock, or we could say how to result even if, and I'll get to the difference between without and even if in a moment. And then of course, we can also just focus 100% on roadblocks and say how to break through a roadblock without dealing with another one. Because sometimes our ideal customers, they have this progression in their head where they think, oh, I have to fix this problem before I can overcome this one. And so if we can remove something that's potentially preventing them from taking action, we can speed up the sales process and of course, handle an objection to buying our product or service. And then finally, my personal favorite for landing pages, although you can use these on any page, I'm just making suggestions on where to use these formulas, how to result in the next time frame, even if roadblock. And so time frame is a really powerful tool that can also completely backfire on you. And we'll go through a little bit more on that in a moment. Now, here are some examples using our results and roadblocks from our example of Facebook ads and helping people with Facebook ads, and some of these examples in plugging these in. So the first one we have is how to cut your ad cost in half without starting all over, right? So we're saying you can do this without having to do that. That's pretty much all we're doing here. And then we come down to how to invest $1 and get $1.5 back, even if your current campaigns aren't working. So here's a good way to think about the difference between even if and without. And so without are external roadblocks, things that they have to overcome externally that are maybe our external pressure or something that they have to deal with. Whereas even if is more internal. This is their current experiences or whatever they currently have available to them. And so without, just think external. Even if is a little more personal, internal, right? So that's why I tend to like using even if we can, because it gets more at the personal experience as opposed to without is a bunch of kind of external things. So let's go ahead and go through the process of actually taking these roadblocks, taking these results, and combining them together into a cohesive headline like these examples that you're looking at here. So I'm going to jump into a simple Google Doc, and here's the exact same process I do because I use these formulas all the time for ours because they tend to work pretty well. And I'm always crunched for time when building our funnels. So here's how I like to do it. I'll bold the pieces of the formula that are kind of set in stone, and then I'll just list out all of the components that would work in that particular slot. Don't worry about grammar. So in the instance we're seeing here, we have how to get more leads, generate more sales, 3x your return on ad spend, profitably scale your campaigns. So all I'm doing is I'm looking at that results list and I'm condensing it down into, let's say, 3 to 5 words, right? And just making a list of all the results that could work in this particular part. Again, don't worry about grammar here. And then we have the time frame in just, and let's say in just 7 days, 45 minutes, 90 days. Of course, the time does need to be reasonable, but here's where time can either hurt you or help you. since this is a landing page, I want to talk in minutes, hours, maybe days, probably not days. Why? Because on a landing page, we need people to get an immediate result, right? We're delivering a lead magnet, they're going to join a webinar, some special training, jump on the phone with you, whatever it is, the results need to be immediate because we need people to have that aha moment, get that little dopamine drip of taking a step forward so that they're more open to purchasing our product or service. As opposed to on our sales page, if we say in the next 10 minutes or the next 45 minutes, well, that could actually diminish the value of what we're selling. So say we're selling a course and we want to charge $500 for it, and we're saying they're going to get the results in the next 2 days, right? Why would I pay $500 for results that are going to happen in the next 2 days, as opposed to you're going to be successful in the next 30 or 90 days and you choose a bigger result, right? So choose a result that maybe they thought was going to take 6 months or a year. And so in that regard, saying 30 or 90 days when you're selling a $500 course actually helps to reinforce the value of the course because you're taking something that would have taken 6 months to a year and condensing it down into 90 days. And so it makes sense that, oh, I'm saving all of this time. But it is possible that you're saving too much time, right? You say, oh, this isn't going to take you 6 months, this is going to take you 2 minutes. That just doesn't make sense, right? So you do want to keep in mind how your time frame is going to affect the value of what you're offering. Probably spent way too much time on that. Speaking of time, so let's go to without and even if. And then I have 2 lists here. So I have without, increasing your ad spend, starting all over again, or even if you're new to advertising, find this overwhelming, not a numbers person, don't have time to learn, right? So we can see here without is a little more pragmatic, right? Increasing your ad spend, starting all over. And then even if, these are a little more emotional, right? Which is why they tend to work a little better because we can kind of poke a little bit at the pain points that they're currently dealing with and maybe some negative emotions that might be frustrating them or driving them a little nuts, right? And so we go through this process and then really it's just plug and play at this point. So the end one we came up with here for this particular example had a 3x your ROAS in the next 7 days without increasing your ad spend. And you can see here with some a little grammatical tweaks, we could make almost any combination of these work. And so how do we know which combination to use? Split testing, of course, right? This is a brainstorming process. So comment below if any of this isn't making sense. And of course, you have the sales funnel playbook to back you up with all these formulas and more. So let's go ahead and jump into some formulas for our sales page. Again, you could use these formulas on any page, but this is just kind of the run through that I like to use. So coming back to our diagram here, we have the power word, way to result without roadblock, or how any prospect identifier can now result in just time. And so quickly, before we jump into this, power words, just think of them as adjectives or a way to add a little bit of oomph to whatever you're talking about. So this is a list of example list of power words. If you head over to whatever your favorite search engine is and just type in power words list, you're going to find a bunch of blog posts with a bunch of examples. And so this is just a way to add a little bit of power and oomph to whatever you're talking about. So let's go through some examples to see how this plays out. So the first one here we have that's a little hidden because I just ran out of room on the slide. The quickest way to find your best opportunities without starting all over again. So you'll notice here that it's very similar, but we'll get to the reason why I like using this formula specifically for sales pages versus some of the formulas for the landing page that we just went through. And then so skipping down here, let's go to number 4, how any business owner can now launch new Facebook campaigns in just 48 hours, right? And you can see Facebook advertiser, entrepreneur. And so this is a great way to call out who your offer is specifically for. And so something in copywriting, of course, is when you try and speak to everyone, you wind up connecting with no one. So it will actually increase your sales when you alienate the people who aren't a good fit. Plus, you don't want them on your email list because they're not going to open your emails. And of course, they're not going to buy. And if they do buy, then they're just going to refund because they weren't a good fit in the first place. So let's just save all that time and headache and alienate them so we can better focus on the ideal customer who is going to be a really good fit. Because the more we can focus, we want people to read our headlines, go through our sales copy and go, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, this is for me, as opposed to, well, I guess I'm an entrepreneur, or I guess I'm a business owner. You don't want those customers or people on I wouldn't want those customers or people on this particular list for this particular offer because obviously they're on the fence and they're not a good fit. So let's again jump over to our example here and go through our process for actually writing. So again, we have our list of desired results and roadblocks, and then we'll skip down here and we go through the exact same process. So proven, new, best, fastest, unbelievable, secret, little known. You could copy these for yourselves, right? These are really generic. You could start every single brainstorming session with these, right? And then we go back to a result. Now, the difference here, and let's say this is going to be either some sort of digital product like a course or maybe a membership mastermind. I like using way to because it insinuates that you have a different, unique method to going about something versus everybody else, right? So that's why I really like using this particular headline for digital products or courses, because ultimately your course or digital product is just a unique way to solve a problem and achieve a specific roadblock. So let's use a headline that captures the essence of what we're actually selling. And then way to result without roadblock. So here, of course, if we're talking about sales, we want the result to be a lot bigger, right? So as opposed to, oh, you're going to, increase your ad spend a little bit, or you're going to increase your results, you're going to get a little more leads. We want to go much bigger, saying you're going to 10x your business, or you're going to scale 3 or 4 times faster than you ever thought possible. And so those were terrible examples because I didn't write them down beforehand. That's why I like to prepare. Okay, I backed myself in a corner. Let's just jump back in here. Really don't know where I was going with that. That's why you write all this out before you make a video, right? YouTube's a little more forgiving. And so we write out all of those big results, and then we think of a big roadblock. And so in this particular instance, we came up with the proven way to design winning campaigns without months of trial and error. And so we are going to be selling some sort of course. And of course, we're going to show them how to design winning campaigns, which frankly is a little nebulous. We'd probably want to be a little more specific, but it is nice and broad. So we're kind of capturing anyone who wants winning campaigns. And we have an opportunity throughout the rest of the sales letter or sales video to actually explain what the heck that means. But hey, it does its job of grabbing attention and of course, building some curiosity and pointing to the fact that they're going to save a lot of time by going through whatever this course is, which is normally a main selling point of a course, is saving time because people don't want to have to figure it out all by themselves, right? So comment below again if you have any questions as we go through this. Let's go through our last set of formulas here. And these are specifically for our upsell pages. Again, you could use these wherever though. So we have the mechanism that allowed me to result and the mechanism that has prospect to result. So mechanism is simply a name that you give a feature of whatever your product or service is, or a name you give your product. And so the reason I like using these mechanism-based headlines for upsells is at this point, someone's just purchased, right? And so they know that this page is selling them something. We already have their attention. We already have their curiosity. And so we kind of skip through the typical enrolling and attention grabbing that we might do with other headlines and just say, hey, we've got this really cool thing and I think you want this too, right? That's pretty much what we do with upsell pages. Of course, you can use this elsewhere. And of course, these are examples of different words you could use for mechanisms. And here's an example of what we might make as an upsell to our particular offer. And so we have the integrated creation framework that allowed me to cut my editing time in half, right? Integrated creation framework sounds cooler, at least I think, than just saying, learn how to edit videos faster. Right? So we're just giving a cool name, or I think a cool name. Hopefully you think it's cool too. The thumbs down, I guess, if you don't. Although I guess it doesn't really mean anything anymore since we can't see how many thumbs down. I'm getting distracted. Let's go to number 3 here. Or the weird video campaign that allowed us to double our subscriber growth in 30 days, right? And so instead of just saying, learn how to run ads to get more subscribers, or learn how to run ads to get more leads and sales, we give it a name and just more like an adjective, just say, hey, this is a weird trick that I think is going to work really well. And so we're just building some intrigue and curiosity around something that really, if we said exactly what it is, would sound really plain. And jumping over to our example doc, here's how we would come up with some mechanism names. So we have Facebook Funnel Library, Facebook Ads Library, View Your Competitors' Ads, Ultimate Swipe File, or New Funnel Template. And so in parentheses here, the funnel library is just pictures of Facebook ads and landing pages, right? Or ad library is just picture of Facebook ads. But if we say, hey, I'm gonna send you 500 pictures of Facebook ads, that doesn't really communicate the value of why someone would want those particular pictures. So if I scroll down here, here's an example from a bullet point. We have the Canvas technique, which is just how to create images, or PAS2 framework, which is just how to write ads. And so sometimes, especially if you're doing digital products, just write out how to and then fill in the blank with a bunch of examples of what your course or product's going to allow them to do, and then just give each one of those a name, and now you have a mechanism. So hopefully that kind of demystifies what the heck a mechanism is and how we turn something that's really just boring, a feature, and turn it into something that can build some intrigue and curiosity around what you offer. And then of course, two, and we just have a list of results, right? And so that's all there is to it, to copywriting, and that does it for our copywriting formulas. Now, before you go, there is one way to supercharge this entire process, and that is pulling formulas directly from your competitors. And all you need to do is choose 3 to 4 competitors or just bigger businesses in your niche and go to their landing pages and sales pages. Just make a screenshot copy like this. I just used the free awesome screenshot tool for as a Chrome plugin. And then you're going to copy all this text. This is a page from Digital Marketer, and they write really good copy because that's pretty much all they do. And then go through and you can copy this legend for yourself and highlight the different copywriting elements and components they're using in their own sales pages, landing pages, and ads. And again, you can do this with any company that has a sales page, landing page, or an ad. And when you start to do this, after 3 to 5 landing pages, after a couple of sales pages, the words are going to start just looking like what they are, puzzle pieces, right? You're going to easily start to be able to see, oh, this is the results that they talk about here. This is the roadblocks they're talking over here. And this, of course, will give you result and roadblock ideas. It'll also give you more copywriting ideas. And of course, I'm not condoning stealing, but when you go through this process, you'll be able to stop seeing a bunch of just words on a page and start seeing puzzle pieces that you can start snapping together to create your own bullet points, your own headlines, and of course, write better copy and better understand your customers. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. Most importantly, you're ready to start writing some awesome, irresistible headlines. Make sure to check out the link in the description to our sales copywriter playbook that has all of these formulas and bullet point formulas, benefit formulas, and more to help you get started. And you can also check out the link in the description to grab a copy of my own landing page swipe file that I use when I write our own landing pages, because building your own swipe file in addition to these formulas is the ultimate combination to shortcutting the copywriting process. So hit that like button, subscribe for more marketing guides just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.